We are days away from the start of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. It's going to be absolutely electric. It is an opportunity to experience all the world soccer, but it's also an opportunity for the world to experience American soccer. And for that, there's going to be some fan groups in Qatar. I'm bringing on a man who's going to help us learn a little bit more about one of the American fan groups. He is Fernando, with one of the co-founders of Barra 76. Fernando, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Now, I know tomorrow you're going to hop on an airplane and start that 16-hour flight to Qatar, which is absolutely exciting. I want to know, what plans do you have personally for the World Cup, and what plans do Barra 76 have for their time in Doha?
Yeah, so, me personally, obviously, I'm going to try and catch all the USA games. I have my tickets. US Soccer is hosting a couple events over there, so I'm hoping to meet a lot of other USA fans and just really fans from around the world. This will be my first World Cup that I attend. I did have plans to go to Russia, but that didn't pan out. It'll be my first World Cup. I'll just love meeting people and meeting other USA fans and being at the games and hopefully watching a couple really cool moments live. Hopefully we can have a good tournament. But in terms of Barra, there's not a lot of our members that are actually going to be traveling to Qatar. Most of our plans are going to be here in the States, different watch parties. We have a few different chapters around the country, prospective chapters, people that just want to get together and watch games together around the country. So a lot of our plans really are going to be in the States.
One of the things that really fascinates me about Barra 76 is you guys were established in 2019. And for American soccer fans, we know that that's after the U.S. failed to qualify for the World Cup. It was one of the lowest points in American soccer. So what made you guys want to start this U.S. men's national team fan group at one of the darkest hours in American soccer history?
Yeah, I think part of the reason is that because there was a lot of turmoil, there was a lot of negativity around the U.S. national teams and bickering and fighting. And a few of us just came together and said that we wanted to change things. And obviously we can't really change it on the field. We're not, pro players, but we can do what we can to affect the culture off the field. And a lot of us that started Barra and that are gravitating to Barra are people with a lot of knowledge and experience within supporter culture, within fan culture, not just here, but in South America and Europe, around the world. And so we want to bring a lot of that atmosphere and that fan culture to the United States and to the U.S. national teams, where, it's subjective, but I think it's been lacking a little bit.
So Barra is a Spanish word. I know that's a Spanish term that a lot of South American and Caribbean fan groups use. I noticed on your Twitter account, everything is in English and in Spanish. Is that Hispanic culture and that Latino flair a big part of what makes Barra 76 Barra 76?
Yeah, definitely. Like I mentioned, we're definitely an international group and very diverse. And a lot of our founding members they do have that experience in Spanish supporter culture and in South American supporter culture, Latin America in general, which I think has some of the best fan culture and some of the most passionate fans in the world, which is great. So a lot of our members are Latino Americans, but in general, we just try and be inclusive. So when in 2019, when the group started, there was a lot of discourse around U.S. soccer being open to Latino fans, and they had closed their Spanish Twitter account for whatever reason, and it just kind of felt like a lot of the fan base was being ignored. And there are a lot of Latinos in the United States that want to support the U.S. but don't really have the knowledge of how to do so, where to go. So part of that reason of starting Barra was, giving all fans of the U.S. national teams, not just certain segments, a place to come and show their passion and sing their songs. And we have songs in English and Spanish, whatever it is, and just being as loud and as crazy as we can be.
Football is back, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. And as your continued source for all wagering info, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports and events like MLB, MMA, tennis, boxing, and even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts. Yeah, one thing with starting this channel and really getting to interact with a ton of fans is you realize that there are a ton of Latino and especially Mexican American fans of the U.S. men's national team. A lot of those folks are fans of two national teams. They'll have the national team of their heritage as well as the United States. I know that's been a big part of the story of the 2022 cycle with a lot of guys like I don't know, Julian Araujo, Efra Alvarez choosing between the U.S. and Mexico, Ricardo Pepi choosing the U.S. over Mexico, and that's just been a big piece of the storyline. From your perspective, what is that story like from a fan perspective whenever they have multiple national teams that they support?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think you should just follow your heart. If you maybe if you were born here, but your family's been watching Mexico games your entire life, and you just feel comfortable being a Mexico fan over the U.S., who am I to tell you who to support? I mean, for me personally, my family's all from Argentina, and obviously Argentina has one of the best national teams in the world. But being born and raised here, I always just felt, very proud to support the U.S. teams. I wanted to see soccer in the U.S. grow, and so even though I did support, both USA and Argentina in 2016 when we faced them in the quarter or the semifinals at the Copa America, I actually was at a bar supporting the U.S. I wanted the U.S. to win that tournament. So I mean, it's definitely an individual experience. But the thing is, a lot of Latino fans never really felt like it was possible to support the U.S. It was kind of uncool to support the U.S. And I think that's part of the reason that a lot of Latino Americans support their roots instead of their nation of origin. So yeah, it's definitely an individual experience for Barra. We're definitely trying to open those corridors where we can say, hey, like, we're fans of the US too. We sing in our native tongue, we sing in English, we sing whatever, and we're really passionate. And, there's a lot of Latinos, like you mentioned, that are big fans of the US, that were born here, raised here, feel a sense of pride and want to see the US national teams do well. So Barra is that place that you can go and, just feel comfortable and hang with people your age, friends, whatever, drink a beer and just, watch the games together.
Now, I had an opportunity to attend a few of the World Cup qualifiers in this cycle, but I also watched a bunch on TV, and especially the ones in the United States. I think the atmosphere on game days during the World Cup qualifiers was just fantastic across the board, especially compared to cycles previous where they might have been played in big football stadiums or something like that, and there was just something missing, I think, from the atmosphere wise. But it's been just completely night and day during the 2022 cycle. Can you tell me some of the things that Barra 76 does on game day, whether it's before the game, organizing meetups and stuff like that, and during the game to really create that atmosphere?
Yeah, so I agree that 2022, the qualifying campaign had some really great atmospheres. And I could say for Barra, whenever we're at a game, obviously we're still a young group. We started right before COVID, so a lot of those years that we expected to grow were very stagnant. So we generally won't always have a big crowd at games, but even if we have a small crowd, even if it's just 30 or 40 of us, we're going to have those 30 or 40 be the loudest people in that section. And we're going to try and be front and center and all be capos in the sense that we're all, trying to get the rest of the wall of the supporter section to sing and be crazy. So we're definitely more of a quality over quantity group as of now, but that's just part of our culture, is being loud and rowdy, even if we're a few people. And then before games, we just always like to have a good time and be together. We'll have pre games, tailgates, drinking, hanging out. The Miami chapter was just at the women's game against Germany in Florida, and they had a big tailgate with their drums and flares, and they marched up to the match. So pretty much we're just always looking to have a good time, be crazy, be rowdy, and sing our songs.
Let's talk about the actual tournament coming up, the World Cup. The U.S. has Wales first, then we have England, then we have Iran. First of all, let me get your take on the roster that Greg Berhalter went with, the 26 players, and your expectations for how we're going to do in this World Cup.
Ooh, I was definitely surprised by a couple decisions, Shaq Moore and Haji Wright, I think, as most people were. But I generally try and have a glass half full mentality. And, Greg sees these players all the time. He talks to them all the time. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on the decisions. I definitely wanted to see peppy on the plane. I think he worked really hard. He chose the U.S. over Mexico, and he played some really great games during qualifiers. But that's not to say that Haji doesn't deserve it. So it's a difficult decision. I'm glad that I don't have to be the one to make that, and that Greg can take all the flack on Twitter. After the Saudi and the Japan friendlies, I was really low on our expectations. Most of our players were out of form for their clubs. We played terrible in those two friendlies. But time has passed, and I'm starting to get that World Cup fever again. The boys are already in Doha training together. We do have a pretty strong 11 and decent depth at most positions. So I really think our group is quite difficult. People are saying that it's an easy group. I think it's one of the toughest group. Any team can finish in the top 2 out of the 4. I think we can beat Wales. I think we can. I feel like this team, when all the pieces are together and working to the sum of their parts, they can beat any team in that group. England has not been in good form over the last 6 months, but also, if we play like we did against, Japan and Saudi Arabia, we could finish 3rd or 4th. So it's going to be a really exciting tournament. I'm going to, predict that we go on to the round of 16 because I'm a USA fan, but it's going to be really exciting to watch all the games, and I'm looking forward to the tournament.
It's going to be absolutely incredible. I mean, for you especially, as someone who's going to be at the tournament, I know that the tournament being in Qatar there's so much there as far as like the political and the social and all that stuff. But at the same time, that's out of our control for the most part. We kind of just have to take what FIFA gives us, and to have the World Cup in one city where you're going to be able to stay there and then be able to go to all the games is absolutely tremendous. I mean, that's got to be absolutely a dream come true. Now, as far as Barra 76, if someone wants to get involved, if someone wants to start a chapter or join a chapter, what's the process there?
Yeah, so first I'd recommend checking out our website, barra76.com, because we do have our official chapters there. But we also have prospective chapters all across the country of people that want to start their own chapters. So I would follow our socials and check out our website and just see maybe you do have a chapter in your area and you can connect with those people and go to games. If you were just interested in the group and wanted to get more involved, send us an email, send us a message. We are looking for people who are very knowledgeable of supporter culture, that might have some experience within their local clubs about supporter groups, the community, soccer community, people that might be able to reach out to people and start a chapter and get people out to watch parties. It's definitely a conversation that we can have, and I have those conversations all the time. So, hey, why not just send an email if you think what it takes to grow a chapter and host watch parties, that sort of thing. And we're growing pretty quick. We have more prospective chapters than we have official chapters right now. People are excited about this and want to get more involved. So, I mean, let's get it going. There's been a lot of growth the last few months now that COVID's over, and we have big plans for 2023. So, just reach out.
There's always discussions about the chants at the games or the fan culture or the supporter culture and stuff like that. And I always tell people, you have the opportunity to go out and join these organizations and become a part of it and affect that. And they're actively looking for people to come on and bring in new ideas and new thoughts on how we can go about game day and how we can go about soccer culture in the United States. So if that's something you're interested in out there, definitely look into Barra 76, become a part of it, bring your ideas to the table and change the way that the world views American soccer from a fan standpoint. Fernando, we're going to let you go. I know that you have a lot going on right now as you're about to hit the road and hit that 16-hour flight to Qatar. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for reaching out and thank you for having me. This was great.
Absolutely. His name is Fernando Varela. He is one of the co-founders of Barra 76. My name is Sam Stokes, and this has been the Yank Report brought to you by Bet Online.